Hello whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. Now recently on my YouTube channel I got the comment, Mark, you are always reviewing bottles that are unattainable for us, special releases and whatnot, bottles that we cannot find. Why not talk about some whiskey that is easier to find? Well, two things. One, I do use the channel not really for educational purposes, but more like I want to talk about whiskeys that excite me. On the other hand, I understand what you're saying, and that is why I will be talking about this whiskey today, because this is a very easy to find blended Scotch. So let's talk about that, and then you can compare notes with me. There's another reason why I chose for this one, the Ballantine's Finest, and that is because I've recently tried the Glenbergie, I've also tried a Glentockers and a Milton Duff, and as it happens, those are three of the fingerprint malts in this blend. But let's start at the beginning. Let me start by saying what this blend is all about. It was actually, as it says on the label, established in 1827. Now, that is a little bit of a stretch of the truth, because in 1827, that's when George Ballantine opened up a grocery store in Edinburgh. That's not really when the whiskey was founded. In 1865, his grocery store was so popular that he opened up a new, larger premise in Glasgow, and he left the shop in Edinburgh to his son his son Archibald. And it's that son Archibald who went into the spirits business, and they grew so much that they actually pulled in the other son, George Jr., and that's when the Ballantine's whiskey really took off. But it took until 1910. 1910, that's almost 90 years after the establishment. Almost 90 years, 1910, that's when the recipe for this blended whiskey was established. That's when the Ballantine's Finest was established. So not 1827, more like 1910. But it is a best-selling Scotch. It is, at this moment, it's still in the top 5 of best-selling Scotches worldwide. Number 1 will remain Johnny Walker, probably forever. But this one was number 2 in the 80s, and now it's still in the top 5. Now Ballantine's, like I said, has fingerprint malts, Glentockers, Milton Duff and Glenbergie, but actually it is composed of more than 50 single malts. There's even some Talisker in there, some Lafroig, and I think some Glenrothes as well. Anyway, there's a lot of single malts that go in there, and also 4 single grains. And until 2005, one of the more important single grains was Dumbarton, but Dumbarton was then silenced and production was moved to Strathclyde. The current master blender for Ballantine's is Mr. Sandy Hislop. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the last name correctly, but Sandy Hislop is now responsible for creating the Ballantine's range. The range not only consists of this one, which is the entry-level malt, or the entry-level blend, of Ballantine's Finest. They also have a 12 years old, a 17 years old, 21 years old, 30 years old, and even a 40 years old Ballantine's. Wow. So 50 single malts go in here, 4 single grains, and that creates what is known as a rather light and aperitif style blended Scotch, and that's the one we will be discovering today. It is a beautiful golden color, and it is bottled at the minimum strength of 40% ABV. Ballantine's Finest on the nose. The grain component is easily detectable. A bit bourbony-like, a lot of vanilla, some corn, some marzipan, but the single malts that really are giving top notes here are definitely Glenbergie and Milton Duff. Yeah, Milton Duff is quite fruity, very fresh, and that lends itself well to blending. This is quite a lovely nose, actually. Ah, fresh, some white fruit, some marzipan, something nutty, but very accessible and very easy on the nose. This is clearly for a broad audience, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with this. On the palate then. A bit oily, easily quaffable. Again, I get some autumn leaves now. White fruit, marzipan. It's very nutty actually, but there is a clear peaty note in there. It's all the way in the back. It's not peat like Isla or anything, but there is clearly some pepper and peaty notes in there all the way in the background. So I do believe a tiny little bit of Talisker or Lefroy is in here, giving this just a spicy little kick to the teeth. But again, very lovely, very accessible, easily quaffable. It's a every man's friend, basically, on the finish then. The finish is rather light, short, blink and it's gone. So easily forgotten. But hey, it's not a problem in this case, because this is the typical kind of blend that you would like to sip on a sunny day like this one, without having to think about it. It's not a whiskey you have to work for. This is just a very easy, quaffable, every man's friend kind of dram. Nothing wrong with it, and actually well worth the price that you pay for it, because this bottle will set you back between, you know, 15 and 25 euro depending on where you live. I bought this in a regular supermarket here in Rodos, and I paid 18 euros, I think. So this is easily obtainable, very affordable, and nevertheless, quite lovely. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye-bye.